What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the worst game state I have ever experienced whilst battling in the Go Battle League. Now, I'm just going to showcase the one set, but I had similar issues continue throughout the day, not quite as frequently as in this first set, but enough to cost me many games where actually I was consistently climbing in the battles where my game actually worked, but of course that just wasn't frequently enough. Now the intro doesn't need to be much longer than this, as we can just talk about the issues whilst we watch them occur during the gameplay, so with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. At this point, do you think the Go Battle League is beyond saving, or do you think Scopely actually get their shit together and fix the things they promised several seasons ago? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. I headed into the first battle, and I want to say that I've only actually got 4 battles in this set because the recording for one of them just didn't work at all. I don't know why. But anyways, into the second battle of the set. And unfortunately, the battle's just not starting at all. I don't have a clue what's going on. We haven't completely frozen. As you can see, the clouds are moving in the background. Also, by the way, these battles are regular one-time speed, so you can sort of understand just how bad the lag is in some of these battles. We do finally catch up there as I swap out of the app, but unfortunately, I am so far behind on energy. I don't have a clue how much energy they've got. So the opponent, we are able to catch a Sacred Sword, which is quite nice for me. But yeah, again, I don't know how much energy they've got. They likely farmed up to 100 before throwing, which makes a lot of sense there. But anyways, they're going to come in with a Fletchinder, which isn't the best matchup for my Crocolaw. I'm going to throw on CMP. I'm hoping I can live a Fly from this range. It's going to be quite close here, but Fly is going to connect, and we do just barely hang on. So now we're going to fire off a Crunch. So I didn't go for the extra Incinerate just because I wasn't entirely sure if I would live 2 more Embers, but actually I think we would have got there. Either way, I don't think it really matters too much. The difference is just a single Incinerate landing, and of course that is resisted into the Fletchinder. Now unfortunately we do end up just being barely outpaced to the next charge move, so I'm going to look to shield my Zwilus. However, the opponent, remember, they've got so much energy on the Doublade, so they can come back in and they can snipe with another Sacred Sword. Now if they did farm up to 100, which I'm thinking is quite likely, then they are probably just 1 away from the next charge move. So as all shields are now down, we're going to swap out into our Magmar, and whilst, yes, of course, we had so much lag at the start of this battle, we are still trying to do something in this battle here. So at this point, we are now going to see the opponent, unfortunately, is still going to outpace me to another charge move. There is just not much I can do here. So unfortunately, Magmar is fairly glassy, so 2 Sacred Swords plus the Shadow Claw damage actually gets the knockout. There's just nothing I can do here, and so I'm going to concede the match, although we actually failed at the first attempt there. But either way, not much we could have done there, but GG's to that trainer, I guess. Into the next battle, and we are going to see a Shadow Zwilus into a Crocolaw. Now this time around, the battle does actually start, which is quite nice for me. Also, by the way, let me know if you think this as well, but when I play the battles back in regular speed, honestly, it just looks like slow motion. It's kind of crazy to watch, but either way, we're going to outpace them to the first move. I'm full sending the Dark Pulse, and if they no shield here, I'm going to swap out into my own Crocolaw. Well, actually, I'm going to swap out anyways, but they do no shield, which they barely hang on to. But this, well, I mean, it could be a Disarming Voice here, which would have been double super effective into the Zwilus, but of course, onto my Crocolaw, that is resisted damage, and it puts me into a pretty good position. They're going to come in with their own Pokemon, which is going to be double weak to the Fairy typing, and so I'm going to go for a Disarming Voice. However, I click on the charge move, and literally nothing is happening at all. Can't attack here. I mean, likely they do end up shielding anyways. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi. Maybe that is the issue here. That's what I'm thinking anyways. So at this point, unfortunately, still nothing happening. Don't really know what's going on whatsoever. Hopefully, I did at least grab a shield here from the opponent. Eventually, we're going to come back, and we still can't attack just yet. Okay, yes, we can. We're finally catching up, and luckily for me, I'm just barely able to reach a second Disarming Voice before they farm me down. That is actually massive for me, because either it grabs the final shield or the opponent ends up going down to the Disarming Voice. That is honestly, like, that kind of just saved this battle for me here. So they're going to come in with a Charge Bug. I should be in a pretty decent position. I know that on my Magmar, unfortunately, a Fire Punch isn't going to one-shot them. So what I'm actually going to do is come in with my Shadow Zwilus first. I'm going to chip with the Dragon Breath damage, and this will eventually put them into range range where a single fire punch will KO. So the opponent is going to overfarm in this matchup. I'm going to no-shield the first move, as once again, if they're on crunch and they get a debuff, that will do more damage the second time around they throw it. And here they do go for a crunch. And crunch also does get that debuff, which honestly means that it would be quite risky as to whether we would actually live the damage there. But it doesn't really matter, as the opponent is just going to concede the match. And despite the fact that we did lag quite a lot in the middle of that battle, we do actually get credited with a win. But anyways, GG's to that trainer. They also reached out to me on Discord, so I guess it's nice for them to see it on my end, what was happening there, as I don't really know what was happening on their end. And unfortunately, again, we are starting so late into the battle. I'm going to swap out into my Crocolaw. And of course, I don't know how much energy they've got once again. Unfortunately for me, this is going to be a close combat, which doesn't actually quite get the KO there. But it doesn't really matter because I still can't attack. So again, I'm turning off my Wi-Fi. At this point, I'm thinking, well, it must be the Wi-Fi because that's happened several battles now. So we're now going to come in with our Magmar. Of course, Wi-Fi has now been turned off. And at this point, we just can't attack at all. And now my Karate Chops, they're just doing nothing whatsoever. No damage is being dealt. The opponent, they're going to go for a charge move. It's instantly going to connect. It's a Thunderbolt. That does a lot of damage there. And again, I still can't deal any damage whatsoever. I'm not gaining energy. And so I'm just going to concede the match there. Honestly, like, what the hell was even that? But it's the next battle, and here, unfortunately, we queue into the wrong league, so we're going to find out whether it's the new code that's the issue or not, as of course, the Competitors Cup is on the old code, so maybe we might have a better time in this battle. So at this point, I'm also not playing on my Wi-Fi, instead playing on my mobile data, because I'm thinking maybe the Wi-Fi is the issue here. So at this point, we're able to grab a shield. However, I am a little bit concerned just because with a Shadow Mightyena in the lead, since this is the Open Great League, they might have something like a Carbink in the back. That is fairly common, and Carbink is going to absolutely decimate my team. Now the opponent goes for a Poison Fang. They swap into a Steelix. I'm going to bank some energy, and I'm trying to swap out. Game, just let me swap out. I just want to swap out. Please, come on, game. Let me swap. Let me swap. No, come on, don't farm me down. Okay, yes, we are able to swap eventually, but I still can't attack. This is super frustrating, and again, I've got no clue how much energy they've got. This time around, we're turning on our Wi-Fi to see if that works for me. Unfortunately, Earthquake is going to get the one shot. And even if I can now attack, it kind of doesn't really matter. There's not much I can do here. So we're going to come in with our Magmar. And of course, I am hitting full super effective damage, but they're going to outpace me now. This cannot be another Earthquake, or at least I'm really hoping it can't be. So I'm going to no-shield this. The opponent is just going to go for a Psychic Fangs, which I'm able to tank. Not very comfortably, but I'm able to tank it nonetheless. Now, I'm going to look to overfarm here. I'm hoping Fire Punch will get the knockout. Unfortunately, because this is a Shadow Steelix, is pretty bulky. Fire Punch, despite being super effective, it doesn't quite get the knockout there, but they swap back into their Mightyena, and at this point, this is basically game over. There's nothing I could beat in the backline, but we go for the Fire Punch anyways. Fire Punch is going to get the knockout there, and we're going to find out that the opponent's final Pokemon is going to be a Wigglytuff, which of course, we're not going to be able to beat it. However, you're going to see the craziest thing I've ever seen from a toxic, like, fast move pressure beatdown team, and that's the opponent is actually gonna hand me the win. So shout out to this trainer, of course, running an absolutely toxic team, but fair play, respect to that trainer, recognizing that I honestly probably would have just RPS'd them if they stayed in and the game worked properly. So I really do appreciate them giving me the win. And actually, despite all the issues we had with that set, I actually went positive, which is kind of crazy to say. Unfortunately, I didn't have quite as good luck with some of my other sets in terms of when the game didn't work. I just got absolutely slaughtered. But yeah, genuinely, like, one of the worst days I've ever had in the Go Battle League. Eventually, I remembered that I do have like a Ethernet cable, which I was able to connect to an adapter and plug into my phone. I did have slightly better experience that time around once I did that, but still had several issues where, like, you know, for example, you click on the charge move and then the game just stops. You can't attack anymore, and then a few seconds later, you can at least fire off the charge move, but the opponent snuck in like 5 extra fast moves, like super frustrating. And unfortunately, this is a team that I thought I might be able to hit Legend with. I am in the 2900s, but the game is just, like, honestly, like, barely playable right now, and I just don't want to play anymore. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Apologies for the sort of, like, less enjoyable content than usual. I would love to make regular content, but this is kind of summing up my experience right now in the Go Battle League. Let me know if you've had anything similar recently, or if the game is actually working relatively smoothly for you. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for this video. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.